Hello and welcome to another episode of Forest Forever. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly run you through the past games and how we've been doing since the last time we was together. And then what I'll do is give you a little squad update, areas that I'm looking to improve, and then any ins and outs for this transfer window so far. But we've still got a couple of weeks left to make more additions and outgoings. But first of all, let's run the intro. So initially, as you can see, we are still just outside the European football part of the table. I guess we can call it. I've no idea for some reason what it's usually called, but I'm just outside the European zone. Uh, One win would put us in there, and we are a game in hand. We are playing West Ham for this game. We're going to be playing West Ham and Man City today. But first of all, over to the squad. What I've done initially is bring Lewis Ferguson back from his loan spell at Aberdeen, not Dundee. He's been performing very well out there, and it's probably worth bringing him back. And also, the backroom staff thinks it's worth having him at the club, even just as like a bit of rotation. He's been playing very well, and why not give him a run out in the Premier League? That's what we've got him for. One player we have been able to sell is Nuno da Costa. It was at about half of his value at 5 million because I think it was valued like 8.5 or something like that. But I'm glad he's out of the club because we're not going to use him. He takes up a little amount of the wages, like maybe 20k at the time or something like that. We've got a nice little amount for him. He's also worth half than what they paid for, which is interesting. But he's also banging on a bit with age. Is what it is. He's not going to get used. Cash in while we can. We've done that. Fantastic. One issue with having Bryce Samba is he is an African goalkeeper, meaning he's going to get called up for the African Cup of Nations, which is what exactly is happening right now. He's playing for the Congo in the Cup of Nations, and I mean, I think they've lost every game, but he's going to be out there representing them. And I'm assuming once the group stage is done and they get knocked out, which looks very, very likely, he's going to come back to us, and then he can continue playing as our main goalkeeper in the Premier League. So this means for the time being that we've got Jordan Smith as our number one, and we've had to call up Michael Statham from the under-23s to be our backup. We did get Jan Hyland, who's just one of them no-names, because we only had two goalkeepers at the time, so he's given to us just in case we didn't have a goalkeeper. Just one of them things FM does, if you wasn't aware of that already. Somebody else that was on his way out is Tyler Blackett. So far, there's been, I believe, a loan bid with an option to buy. Trying to also push for him to be sold this window so we don't have to worry about any loan with optional clauses to buy and all that sort of stuff. He was going to run out of contract this season. However, what I've decided to do is trigger an extension because I think we can cash in a little bit rather than lose him on a free. That's the thinking about it anyway. I mean, he knows he's going, but we're just trying to sort of maintain his value as much as we can so we can try and at least make a little pretty penny off him. It would be much, but it's better than nothing. As soon as it hit January, Yari Vishkaran, he had 6 months left on his contract after falling out with the Anderlecht management. I know he's usually a pretty solid player for the future, and there was so many clubs in the running for him. There was like me, Liverpool, Juventus, some average French sides, I think Genoa. There's a handful of people in for him, but he decided to go to Liverpool. Unlucky. I feel like he'd have been a pretty decent capture for us to go out on the left wing or the right wing. I'm sure he can play both just as well. But it's unlucky. You win some, you lose some. It's part of it. But it would have been on a free, which would have been even nicer. Another absolutely huge transfer, which almost happened, was Scott McKenna going to Sheffield United for, I think it was £42.5 million. I thought if we got 40 odd million pounds for him, and that was just me like skyrocketing the transfer offer that they made and just sort of suggested it, and I was happy with it, which means I probably could have squeezed a bit more out of him if I tried, but at 42, I was like, if we get 42 million for him, that's going to be able to help us out with a new winger, a replacement centre back and maybe a replacement right back, um, as well as potentially getting a cheap backup goalkeeper, um, mainly to cover the Samba situation. But I'd also want someone just as a solid backup if anything ever happened, and like a cup goalkeeper. Because Jordan Smith, as much as I like the guy, he's not really going to be that useful at this kind of level. But yeah, it could have been a very different this could have been a very different story with this save if Scott McKenna did go. But ultimately, he decided to reject them and said, "Nah, I don't want it, boys. We'll stay with the Reds." That's what he's done. He is our vice captain, so it would have been a big loss. And he's probably one of the best players at the club at the moment, at least on value, because it's like João Pedro is like 23 million, and then we have Scott McKenna on 20, and then it's like a bit of a dip. So it'd have been interesting if he went, but I'm very, very happy and not salty at all about him staying. I'm more than happy with him staying. Such a big, big guy for us. Okay, so the last time we actually played some games together was the Chelsea game in which we was ahead 2-1 and then we crumbled and lost 3-2. So from there we went on to Everton and we got a 1-1 draw at home and we managed to cling on to that with So getting sent off. So we just went ultra defensive and we just saw the game out, kept the 1 point. That's fine by me. Then we took a trip to Tottenham in the league and managed to have a nice little 1-0 win, which is lovely. They also sacked Mourinho like 1 or 2 games after that, so he's no longer at the club. I'm not surprised because they're like 16th, 17th in the table. Wolves also have done the same, are like 18th in the table or something. But Curtis Jones did absolute bits and just ran the show against us. And it was unfortunate, but it was a 3-2 loss in that game. We then went to Bournemouth and thought, fuck it, balls to the wall, went attacking like we have for most games recently. Just because the board has started to get pissed off about no attacking football, but I don't know what they expect. We're in the Premier League. We were supposed to be one of the weaker teams. Why would we go out balls to the wall? But yeah, anyway, so we went to Bournemouth on attack and then unfortunately lost late on. We had a lot of chances, just didn't take them. It is what it is. Then we went for Brighton, which was a nice 2-1 win, get us back on the winning pastures again. Almost lost. John Cordoba scored, and we wasn't getting many chances. But then Almeida popped up one of his few goals he scored for us, outside the box, top bins. You love to see it. Then went to Tottenham in the cup. This was literally almost like a full squad rotation. Like you can see, we've got Burke who started, Sugawara and Beso, Petretta. Jack Colback even got a bit of a run out. Graben got all run out. We got absolutely battered, but I'm not bothered. It's the cup. Right now, the cup's not massively important to me. Next up was Leeds United, and we managed to have a nice little 2-1 win and nicked it towards the end with Scott McKenna, the boy who stayed and pied off Sheffield United. Scored a nice little header from, I think it was a free kick. So that was lovely. A nice little goal, which we might not have had if Scott had gone. But today it is West Ham and Man City, as I think I said before. So let's see what on earth happens down in London. Just as a quick update, what my next transfers are going to be mainly looking at is for the wings and for fullbacks. Because right now I've got Max Kilman playing left back, which could probably stay, but in which case I'd need another backup centre back or a backup left back because Ribeiro's not really getting to that level and not playing well enough, and Petretta also is the same. Even though I bought him as a backup, neither of them look like they're going to be doing too well. Sugawara at right back is just not cut out for this. I think he's going to be gone in the next window or two, maybe on loan, maybe permanently. And Christie is sort of doing the job, filling in, but ultimately I wanted him as a backup. So I think Kyle Walker-Peters is on the radar because he's on the transfer list for 7.25 mil. He'd be nice, and so the scouts are all over him and watching him at the moment. Likewise with any wingers that we can find at the moment, because just looking at the ratings of our team, if you get rid of this, because that's usually Samba who's like 3.5, our right back needs some work. Our left centre mid can all be the same at like 3.5 stars because Gutierrez can play and he's the same sort of rating as all of these guys. Almeida also does a solid job and needs game time because he's still developing and doing pretty well for us. But the wings is our big sort of flaw, unless we put João Pedro on a wing and then got a striker. So that's sort of the idea is either wingers or a striker, and then we need to get a better right back and maybe a half decent backup goalkeeper. But aside from that, that's probably everything we're going to be focused on for the next maybe season or something like that. We'll see what happens. I guess at the end of the season we might get a nice little pot, even though it's projected to be like 18 million. We might get a little boost depending on if we perform better than expected, because we're supposed to avoid relegation. Literally the only thing I'm going to change with this starting lineup is I brought Sugawara in, and Ferguson is going to start for Yates. I'll give Yates a little rest. He's played pretty much every game this season. Needs a little rest from time to time, even though he is an absolute engine. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh, quiet game so far. Actually, nothing's happening. A little bit boring. We want to see some action. So far we're 8th. Nice one. Come on, let's make this an attack. Or not. Oh, they've got Jude Bellingham. Oh, for fuck's sake. Not happy with that. But hopefully our players start to pick it up now. But this is one of the problems of maybe having Jordan Smith as our goalkeeper for the time being. Like, he's not good enough at this level, so that's maybe something we don't concede. Another thing I've noticed on this game as well is if there's ever an offside goal which gets pulled back for a goal that's offside and gets reviewed for VAR, it never ever gets stands. It always gets pulled back for being offside, and that kind of pisses me off. Just like this, us losing 2-0 is pissing me off now. Come on then, Bermejo. Come on, João. I think I'm going to have to make a big sub here. Alex Mighton and Gutierrez have now come on for Almeida and Lolly. Hopefully something happens here. Sugawara happens. Love to see it. And Ferguson just got the assist in his first game. This is what we love to see. Gutierrez straight over to João. João slips to the side. Alex, all yours, son. Just what I needed. Ah. Oh. I don't want João taking this. I don't want Oh no, that's fine. Rojas can take the penalty. Yes, because João has had 2 penalties this season and missed them both. We can't, honestly, like, our penalties is abysmal. We've had, like, I think 3 penalties now, maybe 4, which have been saved. Lovely stuff. But yeah, João has took 2 penalties this season and missed them both. And I think Rojas is now 1 for 2. We'll bring Yates on as well then for Rojas, because he's usually quite gassed at this stage of the game. Then all we've done is put Yates in the middle and put Ferguson as the Mazzala. Hopefully we can hold on to this. I should really go defensive, but let's see what happens for the rest of this highlight. No, Sugawara's off. Let's go defensive. That's all it is. Fuck's sake. The good thing about this is that I can go Max Kilman with a 3-back. Bring Yates back as a ball-winning midfielder. Bermejo and Mighton out wide. And then we can just leave that there on very defensive. Should work. I hope it works. Maybe get a counter-attack. Never mind. Hopefully we see this out. This is what happens when we don't have a goalkeeper. Fuck's sake. So unfortunate that, like, this penalty's cost us as well. This idiot's cost us. So here we've got the Man City game, which is the last game of this video. It was unfortunate about the West Ham game, but we've got to kick on and we've got to try and, I think, if I'm ambitious, maybe claim a point from this game. We're going to go defensive. And the change I've done for this video is I've had Mighton in for Joe Lolly because he's playing better than him right now. We brought Yates in for Ferguson because Yates is our bigger player. And I brought Cyrus Christie in for Sugawara, who is suspended. Also, Sugawara is playing like shit, apart from the goal he scored. But aside from that, he's been playing shit. Kilman also has just I've just been informed that his report is now that he's a decent Premier League player, which is nice. I think this recommendation thing's kind of fucked because I can't imagine he's a decent player for the Premier League sides if he's got a recommendation of 1. But anyway, this is going to be one hell of a game, and I really don't like it because we've got Jordan Smith in goal. Like I said earlier, I love the guy, but he's not at this level. And I think we're going to get absolutely pumped. Penalty. Yeah, there we go. And that's usually a penalty 9 times out of 10. Fuck's sake. Smith saves his penalty, then he's redeeming himself for everything. No penalty. Go on then, the one time. Mayhew's pretty tired, which is a little bit annoying. This is what I'm expecting. We're going to get absolutely pumped because we're just not at that level yet. Go on, lovely stuff. I don't know why why Bermejo's so tired. But he's not coming off in the first half. No way. It's embarrassing for a player. Kevin De Bruyne, free kick. Not going to score like that, Kev. I genuinely think the only way we score here is the counter from maybe a corner. Because we always have, I think it's the right winger and Zhao always up ready for the counter attack after a corner. I think that's the only way we score. Jesus basically embarrassed us by running up the whole pitch, dribbling in between every single player. What is that pass? Like, where are you going to, Max? Oh my god. I don't understand what these, like, hit and hope passes are. Well, I feel like they're going to get another penalty opportunity. I'm surprised we've held it this long. Knew it was going to happen. And you know what, fuck it, whatever. Let's go attacking. Get on with it. You can come off because you're playing dog shit. And we just sit and watch the downfall happen whilst we go attacking. Okay, so what you're telling me is we should have been on attacking from the start. Again, it's a ridiculous attempt. So Maximum just sort of running in and out of people like he's doing a slalom. You know what? Aside from Max Kilman's performance, I feel like it wasn't a terrible game. It's something we was always expected to lose, but 2-1, I'll take that as a solid result against clearly outstanding opponents. I think how the breakdown is going to go for the next, like, each sort of video and live game, Just to put it into perspective for you, is I'm going to probably play up until the Norwich Newcastle game. Do all this off camera. We'll play these ones live. I will then play this absolute ridiculous run of games off camera, and then we can finish up the season here, and maybe we can fight for a European spot, but let's see what happens, as I always say. But if you have enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like. I really appreciate it. Be sure to drop a comment down below if you want to see more live games. Let me know about that, or if there's other things you'd like to see more of, then please make sure to drop it down below. And as always, to keep up to date with everything that I pump out, please hit the subscribe button. And as always, have a good day.